And welcome to the Upsurge Premier League Week 5 of today. As we see, we have Orgless versus Robert Morse University. My name is William Chillingwalk Moore, and of course, I'm joined by Ian Youngcat Vanderveen. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing good. It's been a hot minute since I've casted Upsurge, but I'm looking forward. Orgless, formerly known as Loki. I've
Mhm.
seen quite a bit of them, and obviously RMU, big name in amateur scene. So seeing these two kind of long-standing teams, obviously Orgless name change, but they're still kind of low key in spirit.
Oh
So
yeah, and
it's
yeah,
always exciting
definitely.
to see these Titans coming back at it. Although RMU looking a little bit shaky in the standings right now.
Yeah, RMU is, of course, unfortunately 1-4, unable to make playoffs for the Upsurge Premier League, but still, they're looking pretty good. We do see them with Midwest Esports Conference right now, tied for number 2 against Illinois College, but still, Orgless, they're definitely looking pretty good so far. 4-0, I think only taking one loss in their best of 3 series so far. So definitely looking pretty undefeated right now in the Inferno division. Just gonna wait and see what happens when playoff hits and see how well they can test against everyone else in the league.
Yeah, definitely. It would really be nice to see that matchup between Orgless and 100 Thieves next. I think that's what everyone really wants to see going
Yep.
off. And I mean, this does matter for that because there are playoff seedings based off of their standings. So they do want to win every game possible. So this series still does have some kind of implication for Orgless. RMU obviously just want to show up big, kind of say, hey, we are still that team that we were previously known as, being some Titans in the amateur scene.
Yeah, and of course, Art Morris University, this isn't their main win as well, because knowing that they're in the Midwest Esports Conference, that's honestly the biggest part of why they're in Upsurge, right? Because they're gonna have to see if they can win Midwest Esports Conference to make it to have a chance to go to Los Angeles in the Collegiate League of Legends scene. They're competing against Grandview University, Illinois College, and a lot of other teams as well. So using Upsurge as a platform and a way to get good competition is always a good bet as well.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like we are getting situated, so it shouldn't be too much longer until we get into game. But speaking of just everything going on with RMU, all the shifts and stuff, the meta also just is very different now than previous times. There's a lot of slower stuff going on with, Senna TK bot lane.
Yep.
Obviously, Yumi has become a lot more popular now. She can do a lot of crazy things with jungle. I personally love that, but it's very unfun and very interesting to watch because then you have this kind of one giant champion running around. So we'll have to see if something like that can come out. Obviously, the Senna strat with the TK bottom or any Senna in general really is always a little bit weird to watch. And just a lot of bot lane diversity, but obviously still the power picks in the Aphelios and Senna. We'll have to see if those are picked up. Also, the MF is a third pick there in that trio of strong bot laners.
Of course, we have seen Ezra slowly creeping up as well with the lethal tempo being specced in. So we're going to see what teams want to draft here. And I know you mentioned about Senna. I've already talked it to the Grandview boys. You can actually get 120 stacks by 20 minutes if you were to farm perfectly for those souls. But usually those are unlikely to happen. But we saw what happened when they played against Robert Morris University at Midwest Esports Conference, week 4, day 1, where you saw Lobos. He got 100 souls by the 25-minute mark. So definitely looking pretty solid. Going to see if Robert Morris University wants to let Orgless pick up as a first pick or ban it away from them.
Yeah, there's also a lot of other power picks in other roles. I mean, there's the Bard and support has been kind of sleeper. And I mean, if you look at Korean solo queue, it has been absolutely dominant. North American solo queue picking it up a little bit more. I know cat ears is very easy to adapt to new stuff. So I would think that if anyone would be able to pull out the Bard, it would be him. He obviously loves playing aggressively. He's very good at adapting to multiple champion playstyles. He's not just an engage only player. So playing something that's kind of enchanter-ish engage would definitely fit him. So I would want to see something like that come out. There's also the Set and Olaf, which whew, meat shields are
Mhm.
just in right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing right now about this meta. It's mainly filled with tanks, knowing that Ornn is also in the game as well. But we are going to hop right into picks and bans as we see here. Orgless is on the blue side. Rob Morse University are on the red. So Orgless, they do have a first shot of whatever they want to pick here. You did talk about Set. There is Ornn as well. And of course, have to see if Senna is going to make it through this pick and ban phase. As we can see, Orgless starting off with the Cassio ban.
And Cassio has been a very good mid laner. There are certain matchups which she does struggle in, but there's also other matchups where she's just completely oppressive. Also, some flexibility into the bot lane as well. Just taking it off does limit options, especially if they're going for something like the Diana. or any of those other matchups. I know Yasuo is another one that's favored for Cassio, Vladimir even. Also, a lot of the melee champions like Katarina, Silas, a lot of that assassin play. So they're looking for a playmaker. Cassio is very good at shutting it down, taking it off the table, opens up a lot of options in the mid lane for Orgless.
Of course, Robert Morris University going to be getting rid of the Ornn. Have seen a lot of first pick Ornns coming in. We did see a little bit of it in Risen as well, but of course, Orgless banning away the Braum when it comes down to it as their second ban. Only 10 seconds left. Let's see what else they want to ban. And what do you think they're going to be looking at, Meow and Cat?
Well, with all these power picks taken away, it's more likely that we're just going to see another one of those power picks. Thresh, very standard champion. It's definitely more of a targeted pick, as it looks like the support of RMU has some competence with that champion. So just kind of taking it away just for comfort. And yeah, especially with the Yuumi. So, okay, I am a Yuumi main. I should have seen that Thresh ban and knew immediately, because every game I play, I will ban Thresh. It is a very hard matchup to deal with. And with that, it does leave the Senna up, but Yuumi can deal with any champion except Thresh, because he has the instant cast E, where he can prevent her from reattaching. Even Nautilus, I would say, is a much easier matchup than Thresh. So they definitely know what they want for that champion. Cat Ears, also a fellow cat enthusiast, picking that up. I definitely think he knows how to play it. The thing is, it's also very team-oriented, so he does need someone on his team to be able to utilize it properly. RMU obviously going for the Senna TK farming strat, where Senna will be picking up the support item, TK will be picking up all the waves. So already a lot of that new meta diversity that we were talking about.
Yeah, we did see it. We did see what happened last time in Midwest Esports Conference, and of course in Risen as well. So Senna going over to Rob Morris University. Now Orgless looking to pair up the Yuumi with the Olaf. We did see this jungle support duo way back then when Yuumi was one of the best first picks as well. And knowing that Olaf is one of the better champions right now in the jungle, Orgless is going to be looking to pick it up.
Yeah, and I really like that. The Olaf with the un-CC, the ability to be nullify CC from the Senna and TK is very big. He does have healing increase on his W for the Yuumi, so he can get even more value out of it. And it just gives a giant tank for her to attach to without much risk, because he's very slippery and can just run away from all of these engages. The Set and Trundle as well. Just a lot of tank being picked up, and RMU not really having great tank killer with the Senna. We'll have to see what they round out their comp with. I would like to see Orgless ban some kind of DPS champions out. Trundle obviously good at reducing that tankiness, but still, they definitely would like some kind of sustained DPS mid lane, which Cassio would have been great for, but obviously already banned out.
Rob Morris University getting rid of the Ezreal. Don't want to deal with the poke bottom lane between the Yuumi and Ezreal. And usually might want to see a Sivir ban as well, knowing that Yuumi Sivir is a pretty devastating lane. But Rob Morris University instead going to be banning away the Lucian as their last ban here. You did talk about banning some DPS. Those are two of them.
And the Vel'Koz Diana, very strong damage champions. One being very safe, the other one being good burst damage, as well as also having that sustained backup. So it makes sense to take those away from Orgless. And already the Kled pickup from RMU, it is a bit of a... Yeah, he could possibly have an interaction where he can cancel out Set's ultimate with his ultimate, I'm hearing from production. But I do like the frontline potential from RMU. However, again, it still seems like it's lacking a little bit. Orgless, on the other hand, there was all those tanks, and they picked the Vayne into it. I do like Vayne Yuumi a lot more with the Yuumi changes, because she will be maxing that E most likely, and giving Vayne so much attack speed. She'll be shredding through that TK and that Trundle. The only thing she needs to worry about is getting hit by CC or getting run down by the Kled.
Yeah, and of course, Orgless is going to be running after composition in the mid lane for Young Mid on that Syndra. Definitely one of his best champions. The one he's played most right now in Season 10. So Orgless kind of getting getting the pick of the litter for their composition here.
Ooh.
Being really good. But Robert Morris University kind of throwing a kink in the loop here, picking the Anivia in the mid lane.
I actually really like that. That does add so much sustained damage. If she picks up... I'm not too familiar with Anivia builds, but I know at the very least she will have a good amount of mana. She will have very nice sustained DPS through her ultimate and her E's. She also I believe, is able to pick up Leandries in her build. I don't know the exact build path for Anivia and when she will be available to do so. But if she's able to fit that Leandries in there, it will just get so much value out. So I even without the Leandries, I like the pickup. However, I think that she's able to fit it in second item after the Seraphs. I don't know if she's going to be going Roa, maybe third item Leandries. But either way, if she can get that in the mid game, it could be a team fight winner for RMU.
Yeah, and even then, take a look here at Rob Morris University. They're all about terrain, right? You got the wall, you got the pillar, you got a lot of ways to stop Orgless from trying to running at you, especially on Olaf. Yeah, especially on Olaf and on set. So that's the one thing I'm liking about Rob Morris University. There are compositions that knowing that Orgless is going to be the one that is going to be running at you. Well, you got a lot of terrain to stall that engage here, and even then look to see if you can force a re-engage because of the terrain that you have, and especially off of that as well. So Rob Morris University going to be playing on defensive end, but Orgless, they have a pretty damn early aggressive composition in the making.
Orgless also has very good scaling, especially if they're able to get an advantage in Snowball. RMU kind of is a lot of go in. They do have some peel tools with the Anivia wall, with the Trundle Pillar, obviously, and with TK peeling people. But if one of those tanks is the target, and not just one of the squishy champions, like if TK gets caught out, for instance, there's not much he can do to get away from a Vayne who's just running him down with the Yuumi attack speed. And touching on that terrain as well, extra terrain is very, very bad for Olaf. It is also not too great for Vayne. However, we might see some things where she's stunning people into her own teammates' terrain, so that would be funny. But yeah, it really does put a damper on that Olaf Yuumi. As there is a slight delay, we are running through Champion Select again. We should be loading in shortly, though.
Yeah, unfortunately, Fritz had a little bit of an issue in his lobby, so no big deal here. Sometimes the lead client gets a little bit messy, gets a little bit buggy here and there, so I'm just going to do a quick fix and a relog, and we're going to be back at it. But, of course, got to talk about these compositions again, because Rob Morris University, of course, running the Senna Talent Catch, I just got to see what they want to do with it, and if Senna is able to get those stacks here. That's going to be something that I want to keep track of, because if Fritz is able to get those stacks onto himself, it's going to be pretty good here. But one thing I do want to talk about Mary Jerry and Rob Morris itself, right? Back then, when we talk about Midwest Esports and their roster itself, Mary Cherry was actually the starting AD carry, and Fritz was the one who was actually playing top lane. Now they're kind of going in for a swap.
Yeah, and like, if you look at this comp as well, there's just a very good counter to Orgless. I do really like RMU's draft. However, it is a bit difficult to execute on. They really do need to be able to pull the trigger with the Kled, with just terrain picks even. That's a lot of their engage without the Kled there. Just finding a blank Senna W or walling off someone with the Anivia and the Trundle Pillar. It is a bit risky. However, since Orgless really has no mobility over the walls except their flashes, it is possible. So I do like this kind of adaptation where, hey, they have no mobility except flash. We're going to pick a lot of terrain champions. I think that's very smart. But it is still difficult to execute on. And definitely looking at a powerhouse team like Orgless, they can just snowball so hard with that composition. It is a very difficult prospect for RMU, but if they can do it with this comp, it definitely shows that they are able to work as a team, be coordinated, and make it work.
Yeah, of course. I have to see what Zal can do against City Woody as well. City Woody, known as one of the better junglers right now in high elo, and can definitely run circles around Zal if they're not expecting it. So I want to see what Orgus can do if they're going to be going for these early game invades, to see if they can dictate the early game. Because if they're able to, it's going to be looking good. Again, City Woody used to be in scouting grounds. He's going to be looking pretty good as well.
And real quick, touching on this TK, as some people don't know, he does not build a support item at all. He will go most likely dead mans into tank items and kind of be a front line with a little bit of engage potential even because of that dead man's plate. So you do want to keep an eye on this TK, as he shouldn't just be sitting super far in the back line the whole time. Especially early game, there is openings for the TK to be aggressive. Later on, he will have to be very defensive against the Syndra and protecting his Senna. But until the Syndra becomes a problem for that TK and his team, I do want to see a little bit of aggression coming out from RMU using that pick to its fullest potential. I'm interested to see what runes he's going as well. I have seen a few TKs starting to pick up the spellbook instead of the guardian. So if he wants to make some fancy plays, we might see it happen.
All right. So while we load into the game, we're going to be going to a quick little break. But before we go to break, we got a quick ad from Sector 6 as well. So while we return, check it out.
Started with a vision of quality, a vision of uniformity.
We took the time to create something familiar yet refreshing, something with a bit of change.
Designed to fit any brand's unique vision.
And welcome back to the Upsurge Premier League Week 5 of the Inferno Division. Of course, we have Orgless on the blue side, Rob Morris University on the red side. We talked a little bit about these compositions in this break here, Meow and Cat, but we have to kind of reiterate it back to the audience here. What are the things that you are afraid of if you are Robert Morris University?
Yeah, looking at the blue side composition from Orgless, there is just so much scaling, so much snowball potential with the Vayne, with the Syndra, the Set, and even the Olaf. All 4 champions can hard carry the game, and with a Yuumi on any of them, they can just become that much larger of a threat. So you really need to keep a close eye. A bit of an early skirmish coming out, the Yuumi hopping forward, getting in there with the Olaf getting a lot of slows down.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mary Jerry had to blow the flash, so that means that, you know, we could see City Woody show up a little bit early on the top side here. That's the thing, man. You don't want to be face checking an Olaf. You're going to get punched here, especially with cat ears on that Yuumi. So, pretty good look, and unfortunately, a mistake from Robert Morris University.
Yeah, it definitely is a very big blow to the top lane matchup, as 3-in-1 Warrior with that Set does want to be kind of bullying around and has okay gank setup, especially if you can get that stun for the Olaf. Kled not having a great escape tool, so it is possible that this Olaf can look to regank. So far, both junglers have knowledge of where the other one is starting. We'll have to see if they're going to do anything kind of fancy. It does look like they're going to go for very standard clear. We see a little bit of fancy jungler from City Witty getting low health, so he gets a little more attack speed out. Very nice to see on the Olaf.
And of course, here, different side though. We see City Witty playing a little bit more towards the bot side, and you see Zyle playing, pathing up towards the top side as well. I gotta see what happens around 2v2s because you have double terrain from Koskinen and Zyle here, while City Witty and Young. Pretty solid 2v2s, of course, to look for the fight here. Just gotta pay attention to the jungle, see what they want to do here as we take a look at the bottom side. Fritz, this is what he wants to do. We did talk about Senna and how she runs a support item here. This is mainly what she does. She just pretty much just wants to walk up, auto attack, and get those souls.
Yeah, she is getting fairly chunked out as both bot lanes do reach level 2. Now, there is a nice sustain advantage for Vex and Cat Ears. So Fritz really does need to make sure that he's not blowing too much mana on the Qs. It has a decent cooldown, and they're able to get nice chunks out, especially with that extra attack speed on that Vayne. She really does just run people down. The movement speed is very crucial too, as you can't outrun a Vayne who gets the extra movement speed passive. Oh, hold on, top lane gank.
Yeah, Zal's already used a pillar, and of course, Mary Jerry has the hook here. Let's see what he pulls here. Uses the haymaker, but still has that flash. Should be able to make it out A-OK. Doesn't burn it, but a gank from the top side nonetheless.
Yeah, it is worth mentioning that 3-in-1 Warrior did just save his flash the entire time. He says, I know that I'm not going to die here. Make sure that he can save that for a potential aggressive play. He does have a nice amount of sustain due to his champion just being set, so he can kind of stay in top lane without being super low. However, Zyle is staying up there, pressuring him out. So it looks like 3-in-1 Warrior will go for a reset anyways. Or not. Canceled 3 times.
Of course, both junglers already traded scuttles, are on the opposite side now. So if I'm 3-in-1 Warrior, I do not want to be in this kind of lane state because a gank could come through again. But in the meantime, you also don't want to be fighting on the bot side when Olaf is around the corner. But so he has opted to take for a reset. So right now, both these teams are A-OK with the handshake.
Yeah, I want to say that it was very good for RMU, as Mary Jerry was in a very rough spot, and that did stabilize the lane for him fairly well. While bot lane, they already have enough sustain and tankiness with the Senna TK that they can kind of just absorb that pressure, that shove in, and they have enough range that maybe TK misses a few farm, which he's doing very well on the CS, I must point out. But they really slight edge to RMU there, I think, as it forced 3-in-1 to have that reset and then force the teleport back.
But take a look at the gold, though. A slight gold lead in favor for Orgless right now here, sitting at 300 gold overall. And taking a look at the player gold here as well. You know, just a small little gold lead, especially in this jungle right here. You already see...
Oh, hold on. Look at the pinch on Zyle.
Zyle trying to catch on 3-in-1 Warrior. Both have the flash, but no, you see everyone else from Orgless trying to collapse on him, but still... should be A-OK. He makes it out just fine.
Yeah, it was very close to Zyle being overextended there. If you watch the minimap, you saw Young as well as City Witty walking over. And so if Zyle was just a few seconds slower on that clear, he would have been pinched in by 3 people and dead. So good timing to escape, not overstaying his welcome.
I'm honestly surprised that Zal didn't actually opt in for the reset, knowing that City Woody did after his full clear as well. So might be looking pretty haywire. But Mary Jarian, 3-1 Warrior, gonna be looking for the fight here. That's a lot of damage on the Haymaker. Has to be mindful of how much damage she does here, because that's a big blast and a big shield here. 3-1 Warrior still has that flash. He's gonna flash and gets that first blood on the top side.
Yeah, and just using the set passive to get that extra attack speed on the second auto, it looked like he was about to get out-autoed by the Kled. But because of Set getting that extra little bit of attack speed on the every 2 auto attacks, he gets that second auto out faster by flashing in range. So just really small thing by 3-1 Warrior there, but played that fight really well in the turnaround. And that's huge if they can get that set snowballing.
Fortunately, Mary Jerry, going for this roster up, as he said, Mary Jerry usually is the 80 carry for their lineup, but unfortunately they are making the swap here in this match. I gotta say though, during that time, because Zal didn't opt in for the reset, means that City Woody was able to take the first Drake here. Inferno Dragon going over to them. Next Drake will be the Mountain as well. So this game, we're gonna be looking to have the Cloud or the Ocean Drake right now, and it's gonna be exciting to see what happens, especially around this Rift Herald approaching the 8-minute mark.
Yeah, both Drakes are very useful. I personally am not a giant fan of the Mountain Drake. I think it is the weakest of the Drakes. So that means that, or the Drake Souls, I should say. So that means there will be a decent Drake Soul, and at the very least, both team comps can utilize both of those Souls very well. We could run through all the champions, but for instance, just naming a few, Olaf with a Cloud Soul, extremely good. Anivia with an Ocean Soul is fantastic. Senna with Ocean Soul, Yumi with Ocean Soul, Syndroid as well. Both souls would be great for both sides. So Drake control will be very important. Even just getting the next Drake so they're closer to that 4 Drake.
Of course, Mary Jerry and 3-1 Warrior looking to fight out just a little bit here, but we did talk about the bottom lane. King Vix, unfortunately, has to flash away from that snare here, so a good 2v2 overall in favor for Robert Morris University.
And really quick touching on the teleport from Vex. So far, he hasn't found any real good usage of it. He could have gotten, a TP in if he used it immediately, but I'm personally not a giant fan of taking teleport with Yumi anymore, as she can't follow the teleports anymore. Now, if you're just doing it for lane advantage like this right here, it is fine. However, it is always nice to have a cleanse or the extra little barrier. Barrier isn't super important against that team, so they could opt into the cleanse or the teleport. Obviously, the teleport was taken, but it does mean that it is a little bit risky and a little bit less power in that bot lane. So they are looking to just kind of play safe and just scale up with that teleport.
You already see Zyle, though. And look what our Robert Morris University is doing, setting up a lot of vision on the top side. But you already see a smaller rotation coming from City Woody and Young, so Zyle will be able to sniff it out in the meantime. But Young here, playing a little bit aggressive, might get collapsed on as a wall is coming down. Trundle Pillar might be coming down right behind him as well. There it is, still has that flash, and that's a good stun as well. But that's going to be a lot of CC coming in. Young respecting the Q here, going to have to flash away.
Yeah, and overall, getting that Syndra Flash is huge against a double terrain duo on the jungle mid. So we really do want to see some reganks from RMU. Also, Syndra blowing the teleport to get back to mid lane means no TP is very big. Although, the counter gank now.
Yep, Koskinen without any mana. Unleash Power does a lot of damage. Our Sidway is going to be flashing forward as well.
Mare Jerry does have the ultimate.
He's pretty damn low, and unfortunately, Koskinen is going to go down. Young taking his first kill in this game as well. 2-0 for Orgless.
Yeah, and if Koskinen just lives a little bit longer there, can buy some more time. Also is very out of mana due to just using all the abilities to clear wave. If he had just a little bit more, it could have bought time. Mare Jerry was walking down the river, and Zyle was also in position to come in. Would have a very good counter gank with the Kled ultimate, and could have possibly turned around really well there. So, it was a bit unfortunate.
Kind of liking what's going on for... Kind of like what's going on for Robert Morris University right now as well. When we see Fritz and Spacemaker kind of pressuring King Vex and Catters. This is actually surprising here, but in the meantime, Orgless, they do have their sights on this Drift Herald here, but play is going to be going over to Robert Morris University right now. Gold lead, now 1K in favor for Orgless, and they do pick up the Rift Herald.
And Orgless, again, we really mentioned it a little bit earlier on, but I want to stress how well their comp can scale and how they're already securing an early game lead. They have a Rift Herald to get even more gold. They have almost a 1K gold lead. They have the first Drake. They've secured kills across the map. And I mean, if you look at it, they really have gold where they want it. They have it on that mid that Syndra has almost 900 gold by herself over Anivia. In the bot lane, Vayne has a very good amount of gold. Obviously, Senna getting stats from her passive to kind of counteract that. But still, King Vex is doing a nice job farming up and just not losing too much. And this is exactly what Orgless wants. They're getting a good grasp on the game. All they need to do is make sure they press their advantage and not just let the game come to a lull, or else RMU does kind of pick up pace again once they start getting that mid-game item spikes.
Rob Morse Universo looking good, but in the meantime, Zal is going to go for the gank here. Subjugate did get used, and the Showstopper is going to get used as well. But Mary Jerry going for the follow hill. That is going to be the kill for the top laner. Rob Morse University fighting back.
Yeah, all flashes were available, and I think 3-in-1 Warrior realized that and didn't want to blow it when he thought he was just going to die anyways. So that's a really nice gank, and that is very important as now Mary Jerry is getting a nice chunk of farm. He's getting a good amount of gold as well from this turret plating. They do lose another Drake Forat, so that does have a cost to it. But in the end, they do have now this side laner who does have flanking threat with his ultimate.
Look at the top side right now. 3-in-1 Warrior on a 1v2 on the turret here. A great haymaker as well. That's a lot of damage. 3-in-1 Warrior might be trying to go for the double kill here. 3-in-1 Warrior has to flash. Mary Jerry also goes in as well, but that's going to be one kill going in. In the meantime, you already see City Woody going onto Koskinen. The Dawning Shadow is going to be coming in just to see if he can save his team, but no. Rob Morse University getting 2 kills in the top and in the mid lane.
And, I mean, what's scarier than a Fed Syndra? A Fed Syndra and a Fed set. This is very, very rough already for RMU. And they do have ways to just block off and nullify plays. But at the same time, this is exactly what Orgless wanted. And they have the Drake control as well. They have the Drake lead. This game needs to kind of come to a standstill. They need to maintain more Drake control. Stop the 4 Drakes. Because if there's 4 Cloud Drakes and an Olaf, Vayne, Yuumi, they're just going to run at you and just take you out every opportunity. They're going to run around your terrain faster than you can run in 1 second. So it's a tough situation to be in, but they need to just make some picks happen, use the Kled ulti, and establish some control on the bot side of the map.
Taking a look at the game state overall, though, Orgless now 2K ahead. But got to take a look at the CSC because Mary Jerry is definitely holding his own against 3-in-1 Warrior, one of the top laners who is definitely well known in the amateur scene. So looking good on him. But when we take a look at the mid lane, Young definitely flexing a little bit. 130 against 110 right now. So a little bit of a trade right now on Orgless, but you could already see Fritz and King Vex. They're doing a lot of damage in the meantime. You already see the Lost Chapter going in. City Woody trying to see if he can find Fritz here. Fritz very low, has that flash and the heal. Space Maker unfortunately doesn't activate the Grey Hell, which means that Fritz is now on the run, but it isn't only and the Yuumi now. Fritz will be going down as well. City Woody 1-0-3.
And that's just... every lane is now in favor of the side of Orgless right now, and it will be very, very hard to come back. Again, they do have good pick potential. They do have playmaking abilities, but if they get caught right here by Young, what's going to happen?
Meantime, Zal is going to go on Young, but there is going to be another one-on-one on the other side as well. You already see Young actually getting pressured by Zal with that subject, so he's going to have to pay some respect. But Sid Woody is right around the corner. He's going to have to activate the pillar here. Koskinen, very far away, does have that TP as well, but still looks like Orgless should be able to make it
might
out
be a little bit far forward.
Yeah, he's going to have to activate the ultimate to make it out of dodge here. But unfortunately, City Woody is going to be taking it. That means those actually coming down. No flash on him here. And that means City Woody should be able to get this kill real soon with those Conqueror stacks. And there's another kill in the meantime. 7-1 now. Orgless looking good.
Yeah, very nice by City there. Kind of just looking for every single counterplay he can make. And gets a really close Kledar block there. It just barely nudged him in the corner of it. So good on him to try to go for it and not just call it off saying, oh, Kled has R, we're just going to let him walk out. They do get a tower off of that as well, which is securing even more gold in Orgless's pocket. And I like what RMU is looking for, but they just haven't found the opportunity to do so.
Take a look at the player gold real quick as we see here. Already see a lot of Orgless 1500 in the bank here for 3-1 and City Woody here. But we have to take a look at the the mid and that jungle here. 5.8 against 4.3, 6.5 against 4.8 here from the mid jungle duo from both teams here. That's a lot of gold in their pockets. And even then, taking a look at the bottom lane here, you already see iKing Vex. Of course, he is going against a support Senna, but still, that is a lot of gold here. I actually want to take a look at Senna's soul count real quick, because that's the biggest thing when we talk about Senna and how much she has. 62 right now. 62 souls right now.
63.
And 63 by 50 minutes. It's not too bad, actually. He's looking pretty solid. We'll be able to make the 120 mark by the 30 minutes, but right now the game state isn't looking too hot as 3-1 Warrior and Mary Jerry fighting it off. No ultimate for Mary Jerry here, and 3-1 Warrior gonna back off.
Yeah, and the only thing that wasn't mentioned there in that gold was top lane. Mary Jerry does have a decent lead over 3-1, despite his score not looking the best, so I really do think that the way they win this game is through some kind of pick potential, and I think Kled is the easiest option to do that with, especially because he's kind of the only member who's stronger than their opponent in this game, so they really do need to play around that Kled ulti. It is coming up soon. I think that the next minute or two is going to be a deciding factor of this game, as another Cloud Drake is looking to go over to the side of Orgless.
Oh my god, iKing Vex are taking a lot of damage from Fritz here. I'm pretty sure I saw 2 crits taken in. In the meantime, though, Xyle is going to be taking the Rift Herald while City Woody takes the first Cloud Drake in this game here. So a trade of objectives overall, but we got to talk about Senna, man, because that was a lot of damage onto iKing Vex.
Yeah, now hold on a second. Mary Jerry is walking bot side. King Vex obviously heals everything up because Yuumi as well as the Blade of the Ruined King. We do see Young coming, though. It's a 3v4, not the best situation, as Xyle is late to rotate.
Oh my god, City Woody actually just jumps in, flashes right onto Fritz here. That's going to be 2 kills going in. Only Mary Jerry left. He doesn't even activate the ultimate to try and close in the gap because they already know that the fight was lost. 9-1. Now at Rob Morris University has to get out of dodge. Koskinen, I don't know if you want to be there, my man, as you wall off everyone else here. Now Xyle trying to go for iKing Vex. He's going to have to see if he can make a move here. 3-1 Warrior going to go in with a Showmaker, actually killing Mary Jerry in the process here. Haymaker gets used as well. That's going to be a good Glacier Storm to stall out everything else. iKing Vex, woo, barely living with a little bit of healing from cat ears.
And that is exactly what this game has just been. That's been the story of this entire game. Mary Jerry looking for an ultimate play, or just looking for a play with Xyle, and then another member being there and a number disadvantage on the team that's already behind just means disastrous fight after disastrous fight. And I really do like Mary Jerry looking for the play there, but I don't know if it wasn't communicated properly or people weren't following up and rotating in time. But Xyle and Koshkin weren't there in time, and now Xyle getting caught trying to farm his jungle.
Yeah, he only wanted the crown, but unfortunately Young now on a rampage, taking out the troll here, and also they're going to get rewarded by giving him a blue buff in the meantime.
Yeah, this is kind of just a slow bleed game, and we talked about how strong the scaling from Orgless is. Again, they still do have the potential, but it's just becoming even smaller percentage of RMU to get back in this game. Play after play, it's just becoming harder and harder for them. I still do think that they are looking for the right plays. They're just not properly setting up for them, as they were looking for a 5-man bot, and they would have had a numbers advantage if they rotated the mid jungle a little bit sooner. And that whole bottom play under the tower could have turned out completely different. They might have still lost a few members there, but getting that gold equalized a little bit would have been very good for them. So looking at a replay here, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, look at Discord. Look at Discord. Look at Discord.
Oh, okay, here we go.
Yeah, is that?
Yeah, just getting that haymaker or that ultimate from the set, just so much damage because of the percent health on that beefy target.
Right, we're heading back to game.
All right, well, gotta take a look at the game state right now, because right now it's 11-1, a 5k gold lead, actually 6k gold lead in favor of us. iKing Vex wants to see if he can find a fight here. Pilly gets used. Spacemaker and Fritz are now caught in a 2v2 on the other side here. Spacemaker getting slowed so much as he can. The Glacier Storm is going to be doing anything as well. That's going to be a 1 kill in favor for Orgless. In the meantime, they're going to be looking to pressure this mid-tier 2.
Yeah, Baron's still not available for at least 30 more seconds. And they do have a very good Baron comp, so as soon as that's up, you have to keep an eye on that. But in the meantime, they are getting a nice shove in. There is a good amount of wave clear with the Anivia. However, she is right now, so she will not be able to continuously re-clear this wave. She has to go for a reset. Does have teleport available, but it does look like this inner tower will go down within the next wave or two. They are losing bottom outer to Jerry.
Mary Jerry is going to be taking it. Might be sacrificing his life for it as well, knowing that Black Cleaver is going to be on it. No Koskinen around the mid lane as of yet here to clear out this wave. But look at that Unleash Power doing a lot of damage in the meantime. Mary Jerry is going to have to activate his ultimate. Young takes out the Trundle from Robert Morris University. As you can see here, Robert Morris University, they're kind of scrabbling right now as Young Mid now caught between a rock and a hard place. Rich going to see if he can try to find something else. But look at City Witty. He's taking everyone down. Shutdown goes in for Koskinen, but it
a lot of
doesn't
free
even
damage
matter.
in the
As you
back.
already see here, City Witty now unstoppable. Mary Jerry and 3-1 Warrior fighting around the Baron pit. Look at the Baron here trying to help a 3-1 Warrior. Haymaker is going to go wide, but not get enough true damage. Mary Jerry now winning it because Baron is helping him out here. Should be able to take the killer, but now he's in enemy territory. King Vex going to be looking for a young Yordle here. Now,
the Q hits.
King Vex does not have the mana to deal with anything. A double kill goes out big from Mary Jerry. Now 3 and 4, looking good for him.
And that's just a huge turnaround for Mary Jerry. The huge 1v1 into the kill on Vex as well. Now with the Baron, it should be finished off. Young is coming. Oh, hold on a second. Yuumi as well as City Witty, they are coming for the flank. They should be able to come and fight here. Health bars are dropping a bit. We see the Yuumi ult being popped.
Yeah, final chapter gets used here. You already see Youngmin on the other side. Fritz is the one who goes down here. Now City Witty is looking to cut down everyone else with the axes. Double kill goes in big. Zal has to make a run for it. The wall, unfortunately, isn't optimal here. Triple kill goes in. Scatter the Weak is going to land a snare here, but that slow isn't going to do a lot here as a condemn from King Vix is going to be able to secure Koskinen as well. That's going to be an ace for Orgless. 19 and 4, 6.5k gold lead in. They're going to be looking at the Baron.
Yeah, and that was very unfortunate. Now with that play, the Baron is pretty easy pickings for Orgless, and the 4th Drake would be available for them if they choose to take it after this Baron. And if they get that, imagine a Olaf running at you with 100 movement speed with a cat on his back, or a Vayne who pops the ultimate and is literally untouchable by your melee champions. So that would be a very, very nice Drake for them to have. And after this 4th Drake, which is being started off by Young, I believe, he does not have enough damage to do it, actually. A bit unfortunate, but they should be able to secure it on the reset.
Yep,
that is
though.
very
19 and 4, 10k gold lead in favor for them now. So should be a pretty clean closeout overall. Gonna see if Robert Morris University actually wants to defend here. So it's gonna be pretty tough order from Robert Morris here. In the meantime, just got to take a look at the kills here, because look at City Witty, man. 8, 0, and 5. This Viking is deathless right now. In the meantime, you already see him already going over the wall. They definitely want this Cloud Soul, and they're going to be looking to take it and looking to see what they can do to end the game here.
Yeah, and this Olaf is absolutely huge. We talked about the Olaf Yuumi being just such a brutal combination with the amount of sustain that they both provide on an unCCable target. It is such a good combination, and even if City Witty had a bit of a rougher game, they still would have King Vex to play off of with the Yuumi. So again, I really love the draft from Orgless here, but at the same time, I appreciate RMU's draft, but they haven't been able to capitalize it, and now they're dealing with a Baron Siege, which is a lot harder for Anivia to clear. Not impossible, but still a bit slower, and Chip is coming through.
Yeah, but City Witty already activating the Ragnarok. He wants to try and take down the troll here. Has a little bit of health here, but the Zoomies will be able to provide that heal here. So no fight as of yet. In the meantime, they're going to be looking to look at the mid inhibitor turret.
Oh, and the Yuumi ult does come out.
Yeah, final chapter gets used here. Now Fritz is the one going down. Orgless is literally clicking the trigger to pick up the fight here. City Witty now legendary. King Vix looking to take down Koskinen as well, but unfortunately he's going to be unsafe under the turret. Mary Jerry though going to be going down as well. Double kill goes in big. The Showmaker going to be bringing down the bird. That means that all 5 are down. 20 seconds left on everyone else here. This should be the game.
Yeah, and with that, it looks to be the end for RMU for their first match. Orgless really just snowballing extremely hard with that composition. With so many power picks on their comp, you really needed to take away some more of those power picks. They had a nice bot lane, but in the end, it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, it wasn't enough indeed, but we have to take a look at Orgless as well. You did mention about the draft, but I got to take a look at City Weedy right now, 10, 0, and 6, 11,000 gold in his pocket, but he was the main man looking to be the person walking himself in here. You already see the damage that he's doing as well. The most damage right now, 19,000, almost 20,000 as an early game jungler here. Of course, does have the help of Cat Ears on Yumi as well to help get him into these fights here. So Orgless definitely looking pretty good here. Definitely a pretty solid, clean game overall as well. Only a little bit of mistakes in the laning phase, but still definitely looking pretty good nonetheless.
Yeah. And every single lane had a very dominant showing. 3-on-1 Warrior had some nice moments. He did get shut down a little bit by Xyle, and I really did like that kind of game plan by RMU to play through the Kled, get that advantage in top lane, and transition it through the map. But in the end, it didn't pan out quite well enough. And I would like them to just work on those rotations a little bit, because it seemed like people weren't there where they were supposed to be in time. And the game could have gone very differently had a few people been some places a few seconds sooner.
Yeah, unfortunately, because here's the thing, right? When you're playing Anivia, you're not going to be moving around the map, right? We already saw the rotations of what Young Mid was looking to make with his jungler here, and unfortunately, Koskinen was just under turret the entire time. Got 2 ganks from City Woody, couldn't really move around the map, and because of that, they were just kind of able to track down where I want to be, and because of those kind of rotations and that tracking, they kind of took out the early game by storm.
Yeah, just very good early game composition, and I think RMU might want to just change things up completely. I think that they can execute it on a comp like that. However, Orgless is such a dominant team that it is very hard to play kind of mid-game to late-game focused comp. So I would look to change things up. I don't necessarily think the Senna TK is bad, but maybe get some more initiation in there to be able to pull triggers without Marigeri, because it was all on that top lane pick, and he tried his best, but there wasn't enough hero plays coming out that they could win the game.
Yeah, but that's where it gets tough, though, right? If you're Rob Morris University, because here's the thing. When we take a look at Orgless and that roster itself, individually, they're very good. They're all pretty high on the ladder. And when you're Rob Morris University, the question is, are you able to take them in the early game? And can you match for them blow for blow here? So that's the big question. If Rob Morris University wants to change their draft, I'm actually not too sure what they want to do when it comes to this game plan. Honestly, I did like the way they oriented themselves to be kind of like this terrain team composition, right? Stopping the Olaf, stopping them walking in. But unfortunately, we're going to have to wrap it up here as we go into game 2 here. Going to go to a short break, but when we return, we're going to see if Robert Morris University can push it to a game 3. So stick around. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Upsurge Premier League Week 5, covering the Inferno division between Orgless and Robert Morris University. We saw what happened game 1 between Orgless and Robert Morris. Orgless looking pretty damn solid so far. Only small little mistakes individually, but still ending the game with double digits when it comes to kills overall. So they're looking pretty damn solid.
Yeah, there was a really strong early game, and they just kept that power throughout the whole game. They had a very good comp to Accelerator Snowball with, so I definitely think there's going to be a lot of changes in the draft. In particular, I mean, there was just fight after fight of just members getting picked off.
Showing the
and then
replay of the
just-
Baron.
Like, for instance, this replay that we were pulling up of the Baron fight, which
You
should
can't-
be up.
Oh, sorry. I
shortly.
can't show it. Fuck.
That is not going to be shown. Never mind. I was lied to. I lied to you. I apologize. But there was just fight after fight where
There, it's in Discord.
people were just, oh, okay, here we go. It is now available. And yeah, just the end of that fight being cleaned up. I mean,
Replays. We're
we
now going
see
to go
that
to the
power
end of
of
fight.
Yumi just running people down with the Olaf, with the Vayne, with the Syndra to pick people off as well. There's just so much power in that composition, and there was not enough respect for the rotational play, and there wasn't enough aggressive rotations from RMU to match that.
And even then, we have to talk about the ending fight right here as well. You already see Ike Vic and City Woody just going right into the last fight here and taking a look at the replay, of course. And that's what happens, right? They're going right in. City Woody taking down Mary Jerry at the end of it as well. Yeah, and the Showmaker at the end of it, topping it all off. Looking pretty damn solid for them as well. So Orgless, they can pretty much just keep the draft the way they want to see it, but it's up to Rob Morris University to see if they want to change something to their draft.
Yeah, and I definitely would like to see a little more engaged. I felt like they really had issues pulling the trigger. They really relied heavily on Mary Jerry on that Kled, and he was looking for a lot of plays, but every time the Kled is off the map, they obviously know what's going on. So I think with a few more options, it does diversify their playmaking potential a little bit. So I would like to see at least 2 proper playmaking champions this time. And I think with that, RMU can make easier rotations and then look for more plays and be more proactive and not just fall behind and kind of play at the beck and call of Orgless.
Rob Morris University, though, only having 1 win right now in their division, and Orgless still undefeated. So if Rob Morris University wants to see if they can take down Orgless, the best squad right now in the Inferno division, this is the time to do it as well. So going to see what Orgless has in store, see if they want to play around with the draft as well, because again, this is game 2. If you want to play around, try some new strategies so you are ready to go into playoffs, this is the time to do so.
Yeah. And I did like that they were adapting to the meta. It looked like they really adapted their draft to what they saw. However, there still were some gaps in their draft that they weren't able to overcome. And so I think that if they try to keep with what they're going, but go for a little more of a rounded composition, I would say, I think that that could fare very well for RMU. I really am harping a lot on the rotations from RMU because I felt like they really were looking for the right plays, and it was just a little bit of misexecution because I think that if a few of those fights were a little more favored towards RMU setup, it really could be an entirely different game. And I like that there was a little bit of life in that fight, but we're getting right into pick ban, and it is just speeding through.
Yeah, we already see Rob Morris University banning Misfortune, Aphelios, and Yumi here. Of course, Orgless, the first ban was however on Cassiopeia, but it actually is gonna be the Ornn here. But it doesn't really matter because you already see Orgless banning away Cassio right after, and the Senna as well.
Yeah, that Senna ban being taken away from RMU, it does mean that there's at least going to be a big change in that bot lane. They do take the Ezreal, which, as you mentioned at the start of the cast, is much more powerful with that lethal tempo. We are seeing him quite a bit more. The Yumi ban taking away from RMU is also quite notable. It means that, taking away from Orgless by RMU is very notable. They do go for a Thresh set instead, but a lot of ADCs taken off the table. RMU already has theirs. They probably do want to pick their ADC before the next ban phase, or else there's going to be not much left for Orgless to work with.
Yeah, I'm surprised knowing that there's, what, 3 AD carry bans, and of course the 4th being taken away. That is right, Meow and Cat. But Rob Morris University haven't seen the enemy jungle as of yet, but looks like they're A-OK having Zhao play out that Trundle, and looks like they're going to be taking the Tahm Kench as well as a counter pick to Cadiers and his Thresh.
And Tahm Kench Ezreal is a very safe lane. With the Trundle, again, I'm not seeing that engage potential, that aggressive playmaking from RMU. And it really is all going to be on that top and mid lane. Now, Mare Jerry did show really well last game. I was pleasantly surprised by his play, especially against 3-in-1 Warrior, who, as you mentioned, is very known and is a very consistent player. He performed extremely well, and so it really does mean that if Mare Jerry can play like that again, they want to just play through him and put him on a carry. But again, it is a little bit iffy with the rest of his composition not having that much strength in it.
Yeah, you already see Orgless picking up the Thresh and the bars. You talk about engage. They definitely have it in their pocket here, as they can definitely look to go onto Ezra or onto Tahm Kench and burst him down, especially that Varus is kind of being slept on, you know, after the other 4 carries here. Varus is usually the one to go to as Orgless. Gonna have to take a look at what that ban was and waiting to see what they type in. Of course, looks like it will be the Kled ban, like getting that champion away from Mare Jerry.
Yeah, and he did perform extremely well on that Kled. I think that the Kled wouldn't have enough damage with this composition in the first place. And so I do want to see something that is a good matchup into the set. Possibly a split push champion. RMU could win with a split push on Mare Jerry, and then the rest of the composition just playing very safe. It is a bit hard to execute on a composition like that, though, and I wouldn't advise to go for that personally, based on how last game went. But if they feel like that's how they win this game, and Mare Jerry is feeling confident in taking 3-in-1 Warrior on again, it could be the avenue to success for them.
Keep in mind that the set is to potentially a flex pick. We have seen it in the jungle when it comes to Academy, and of course in the other collegiate and amateur series as well. So you have to be mindful of who's going to be piling it. Could be 3-in-1 Warrior, could be City Witty, but Orgless are going to be going with their final ban, which is going to be the Mordekaiser.
Yeah, the Mordekaiser is just a very strong power pick. And Mare Jerry does want to be kind of this dominant force in the top lane. Taking away something like that can just be a huge threat on the map is pretty smart, especially with some of the, more vulnerable champions. If Varus is having to deal with that Mordekaiser and he's not strong himself, the Mordekaiser will kind of just run him over. Ooh, bit interesting with that pick from Orgless.
Yeah, City Witty going back to one of his other comfortable champions, the Kindred as well. So you already see him with a double marksman composition, having a pretty solid front line as well. But in the meantime, Rob Morris University, they want to answer some aggression coming back in for Mare Jerry and see if he can take it to set here, knowing that Kindred has been locked in and set more than likely going to be the top laner for Orgless.
And I do like the composition for Orgless so far. They have a nice amount of frontline with the set as well as the Thresh to kind of peel away. They have engage potential with the Thresh picks, the Varus picks, and with a set kind of just going for a flank or just doing set things and just running in. and they have a very large amount of DPS supplemented by the Kindred. And RMU has a very kind of passive composition. They have very good holding, they have very safe lanes, and they have the split push with the Renekton, but it's all on Marigeri with that Renekton in the side lane to make something happen. And also against a set Kindred, it is a bit rough for the Renekton, as he will be kind of just taking that ranged DPS for free, and Kindred will always have that ultimate available post 6 to deal with the Renekton in reality. So a bit of a rough composition. I definitely am not a fan of RMU's draft compared to last one. I felt like last draft was very elegant by them. This one feels a lot more just kind of, we're throwing stuff at it, and it doesn't feel very cohesive.
Yeah, as you said it, Young Cat. But Orgless is going to be locking in the Azir as their final pick for Young Mid against the Corki. A pretty good matchup for him overall. And of course, a lot of late game DPS from both sides here. You got triple range backline from Orgless and a double range backline from Rob Morse University as well. You did mention that Rob Morse University, you did want them to have an engage here. I don't think they're going to be going for that. Instead, opting into the stuff that can disengage or slow down the progression from Orgless here. So, going to see what Rob Morse wants to do when it comes to their composition with double Triforce 80 carries.
I definitely think there is some spiking that they're going to be able to work with. As you mentioned, the double Triforce, obviously huge. And if they're able to just burst down targets, it could work. But realistically, looking at RMU's comp, they don't have great pick potential. It is going to be a bit hard. They do have decent control over objectives, especially if they aren't behind. If they're at an even or even in a head state, RMU could definitely poke out objectives with the Ezreal Corki and then take them pretty secure. It is always going to be a risky game against a very aggressive and versatile composition that Orgless has.
Rob Morse, though, got to see what they can do when it comes to their roster overall, right? It's pretty obvious that they're going to be playing towards the top side, playing towards Marigeri with that Renekton here. See if they can take it to the Warrior. We did see Marigeri have a good time in game one here. Was up roughly around 30 CS here. Of course, did have a lot of deaths in the early game here. But if Zal is able to show up on the top side and help out Marigeri, Rob Morse University could have a win condition in their hands.
Yeah, and Zyle definitely showed that he understands what the win conditions are. He plays towards them. If they're able to iron out that kind of rotational play, the timings, and the communication that might have hindered them in that first game, there is a real possibility that Marigeri is going to be huge on that Renekton, and he will be a very large threat. There are some answers that I'm a little bit scared of, though. The Azir with the wall is so effective against the melee champion, Renekton and Trundle. The Kindred ultimate also kind of nullifies the Renekton, times them out, and then you have so much peeling from all the CC with the Varus, with the Azir, even the set ultimate to just take him out of the, Kindred ulti, for instance. It's a bit of a tough matchup, I would say, but I mean, he picked it willingly into that top lane. I think he knows how to play it, and that's going to be a very important key detail to this set.
I'm also kind of afraid of Zal right now as well, because he's running the Trundle into the Kindred. That's actually a very good matchup for the Kindred, because you can jump over the pillar, you can outmaneuver what Trundle wants to do. Of course, Trundle has to do a lot of work to get up close as well. So gonna go back to the jungle here, see what happens here. We saw what happened in the early game. The 2v2s definitely favored City Witty and Young Mid. But if Zal and Koskin are able to survive in the early stages, they should be able to make it out a-okay. Enter these team fights with the first item spikes off the Trinity Force, and of course with Renekton as well. So it's all going to be based on the early game here. Got to see if Rob Morse University can do to take it.
And I really felt like RMU last game. I mean, obviously score says that they lost so heavily, but there was some really good moments, and I'm hesitant on their team composition this game. So the only reason I feel like it's not super close is because of the draft. But if RMU plays just a little bit tidier than they did last game, it still is completely winnable by all means.
Yeah, with that being said, we're going to go on a short break. But before we go on a short break, though, got to give some shout outs to Midwest Esports, as they are the ones who are sponsoring this stream here. Of course, Midwest Esports has been around for many years, starting as a small student group out of Wichita State University. Since then, Midwest Esports has grown to be a veteran organizer to tournaments and events throughout the US. They host tournaments for games like League of Legends, Rocket League, as well as Overwatch. So for more information, check them out at midwestesports.com. With that being said, we're going to go on a short break. But when we return, game 2 between Orgless and Robert Morris University. So stick around. Don't touch that browser. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Upsurge Premier League Week 5 between Orgless and Robert Morris University. Got to talk a little bit about Orgless because right now they were the remaining champions of the Upsurge Premier League, but unfortunately, Loki Esports, we know the drama and we know the scandal that has occurred here. Unfortunately, losing their organization, losing it, and kind of getting backstabbed a little bit here. But now the Brotherhood under the same banner here are going to see what they can do to take it to Robert Morris University.
Yeah, we do see them pushing aggressively for that early game vision, kind of know what's going on. And it feels like as long as Orgless gets their early game, gets that lead that they have been able to be so successful finding game after game, it should be just another win for them. But RMU, they really want to be that wild card, throw a wrench in the plans, and kind of get that experience in to show we're able to do things. We are still one of the top collegiate teams. Oh, nice hook from Cat Ears, though.
All right, man. Going fishing on Fritz here has to opt into getting the arcane shift here. And unfortunately, no mystic shot for him, which means not going to be landing a little bit of poke here. But this is going to be the first time we see Fritz on this Ezra with a lethal tempo here. We got to talk a little bit about that and why it's so good right now.
Yeah, well, hold on a second. There's the invade from Vex right here. Nice damage on Fritz.
Oh no, Fritz without arcane shift means that he's not going to be going down. But Zal did manage to take the red buff here, meaning that they are going to make it out a-okay here. So a small victory in favor for the jungle.
Yeah, but at the same time, what effects is that going to have on the bot lane? Fritz does have the teleport available, so he most likely will blow it to get back to lane. We'll have to see if he has miss XP. He has miss XP, so there is already a bit of a bot lane disadvantage. So it's trading that advantage on Xyle for the advantage on Vex and Cat Ears in the bot lane.
Yeah, but take a look at the top side, man. 3-1 Warrior having a pretty solid advantage right now, both level 2. Now, it looks like they want to try and go for it, and they both have the conquer here. Flash away from Mary Jerry. Is the flash fall going to go through? And it is! First blood again, going to 3-1 Warrior.
And he's so good at flashing forward and punching people. That is just his specialty. But he knows just exactly how much he can get away with on that champion. I really do like his prowess on the set here. He's just limit testing his champion to the max every single fight, and it's extremely fun to watch.
Yeah, I like what 3-1 Warrior actually managed to pick up as well. He went back to base. Give me another D-Blade, because we know that Renekton wants to play for this early game. He's going to be matching blow for blow here, but right now Xyle did want to opt in going for the steal on the top side here, but still going to make it out A-okay here. And in the meantime, Xyle's still in enemy territory, actually.
Yeah. Did City just miss that?
No, it looks like City did not. But right now, I don't know. Actually, it looks like maybe Xyle is playing a little bit of Metal Gear Solid.
About to be a big top lane skirmish. Look at City's positioning here.
Yeah, they do have the gank on Mary Jerry. That's a big wave, though, if they want to try and fight a 2v2. But keep in mind, Xyle is up here as well. Mary Jerry retreating back to his teammate here. 3-1 Warrior. That's a big minion wave as well. So both going to be paying a little bit of respect here. You already see City Woody backing off, but Spacemaker taking a little bit of poke in the meantime. Already losing a plate on the bot side, actually.
Yeah, that bot lane level 1 really did things against RMU, as we see that CS lead has just surmounted in favor of Vex. And yeah, Spacemaker as well, taking so much damage. He does not have that Senna like last game to sustain him up with the great health. And we can already look at the gold and just, there's that 350 lead in favor of Vex over Fritz. And so this Ezreal is going to take a long time to catch up in power to that Varus. And Varus with lethal tempo can deal very large amounts of damage very quickly too, which is extremely useful to have. Now, against the two 80 carries that you'd want to just lock down and burst down before they can escape.
Oh, but the 3-1 Warrior with that big haymaker, man. Double Doran's Blade is going to be helping him a lot in this fight here. As you see, Mary Jerry wants to see if you can go aggressive, but I'm not too sure if you want to fight the man who can punch you in the face here.
Yeah, and
gotta take a look at City Woody, though. 14 CS. A little bit behind in the jungle matchup as well, but going to see what he can do to bounce back.
Yeah, he is looking to brawl a little bit with Xyle. Xyle's getting very low, too.
Yep, forcing the flash here. Almost dying from the Wolf's Bite, but managed to make it out alive here. Definitely like Xyle right now, 26 CS at 14, but because of that, that means that City Woody is able to control the bottom side quadrant.
And this is very big for City Woody, because it gets him control back over not just his own jungle, but gets him a good establishing vision in the bottom side of Xyle's jungle. And oh my gosh, 3-1 Warrior is so good at just taking these quick, short trades on set. It is actually absurd, and it is so much harder with just the pure melee champion of Renekton compared to the Kled of last game.
Yeah, you already see Mary Jerry with almost 100 health left here, but got to talk about the bot side again. 2 plates already being gone. 43 CS to 27 in favor for King Vex here. So Rob Morse University already building almost a 1,000k gold lead in just the span of 6 minutes here. So Orgless, they're not slowing down their aggression.
Yeah, and I really do think that RMU needs to have some kind of aggressive play, but if you look at the composition, they don't really have too many options to. So they're kind of just getting pushed in and taken back, or taken even further behind. Now, I do think that there is good gank potential from Xyle against the immobile bot lane of Orgless. They only really do have the Thresh Lantern for the Varus, but right now there's no real proper gank timings or opportunities, and it's just really rough to deal with. And we do see a teleport coming out from Young onto the Dragon, getting that early Dragon lead again, and an Infernal Drake just to accelerate that damage that they have.
See what he already picking up here. Level 3 to level 4 against Zal, but Zal is putting a lot of attention on the top side, making sure the manager is able to live in this lane. You already see the CS lead, 48 to 36 here. 2 waves in favor for him, but Hook is going to land. Cleanse does get used by Spacemaker as well, but Mary Jerry, even though you have a CS lead, you're definitely losing this one-on-one right now against 3-1.
Yeah, and he does have a CS lead, but he is at a very large gold deficit, almost 500 to 3-1 Warrior, so it's a bit deceptive that kill gold is adding up a lot of money. And with the tabbies too on 3-1 Warrior, with the regen that Set just has in these fights, it is just so hard to get that damage to stick onto him. So Jerry he needs to play for ganks, he needs to get some assistance, or he needs to look to make plays happen somewhere else, because it does not look like he's going to be able to make it happen in the top lane by himself.
Got to take a look at what Fritz bought here, and this is a kind of a big mistake. But before I even get to that, Young Mid utilizing the Emperor's Divide here. Hook is going to go wide from Koskinen, but going back to the bottom side here, you see Fritz going for the tier, man. Not the best itemization, especially when you're getting pressured in the meantime. But, man, 3-1 Warrior is doing so much damage.
Yeah. Unfortunately, wasn't able to land that Haymaker, but still gets a nice trade onto Jerry. And look at those punches after punch on the Set, especially with that Conqueror. It really does start to add up.
Blue buff is now being taken over to Young Mid. Gonna get that as well. Now Young Mid's sitting in a pretty solid spot here with the Fiendish Codex and double daggers here. You can see they're able to pressure Koskinen in the mid lane. But so far, this game has gone relatively slower. But if it's anything like game 1, something's going to happen. The game is going to explode at one instant. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens.
I do want to point out how Cat Ears is just roaming so effectively with those Mobies. You'll see him constantly between bot and mid. And he is just basically like a second jungler almost. Right here, gets a nice hook on. Not really going to have any follow-up as no ultimates are available. But still, he gets the hook.
Doesn't want to go for the dive, but take a look at what Orgless is doing right now. All 5 of them looking to make a Rift Arrow play around 9 minutes here. Rob Morse University, I think they're just going to be looking to give this up.
Yeah, and we do see Vex using that teleport to make sure he doesn't lose too much in the bot lane after establishing that control. Goes right back down to get his farm, and Cat Ears with that Mobies just being a menace. Not landing the hook though.
That hook did land. Pretty sure Koskinen would have to be forced to use that flash away here. So good stuff on him, getting out of dodge. But still, Orgless, they're still trying to pressure all the way in. Already a 1.2k goal lead in favor for them here, and with both neutral objectives as well here. So just gonna see what happens as Xyle. He's gonna be City Witty in the jungle. Does have the smite and a 1-1 here, but the backup is coming in. City Witty has to try and flash away from the pillar here. Level 6 is there as well. Xyle flexing on the enemy jungler, but reinforcements are on the way.
Yeah, and that was very unexpected, but Xyle coming up big, getting that munch down. Now he has to see if he can escape. Looks like he's going to go for the execute, but he's a little bit too tanky to go for that, I think.
Oh man, Cat Ears dedicating the flash to go on it. Young getting the kill just barely, so they do manage to salvage the situation. Double buffs go over to him now. A 2-1 kill lead in favor for Orgless.
I do like Xyle making that invade. I wish that he had a way out. I don't know if he was just overstaying or if there really was no way out after that, but still in the end he does do a lot to shut City Witty down, and it means that he has a lot more room to work with as long as Young doesn't get too big with those double buffs on Azir. It is a bit oppressive having that blue on the Azir. The red buff is really mostly for the mana, as the soldiers will not proc that damage, but it's a tough lane for Koskinen already.
Yeah, but taking a look at the bottom lane here, Spacemaker and Fritz has to get a dodge. Actually gets canceled by the hooker. That means TPs are calling in. The turret's going to be going down as well. Cat Ears was the one who tanks it, but the Lamb's Respite is going to be coming down. Fritz and Spacemaker by themselves. All 5 members are down here. Rob Morse University, I told you they're going to pull the trigger, and that's what they are looking for.
And that is just a huge play again from Orgless, and it felt like there wasn't much for RMU to do there. I mean, I like that Spacemaker saw what was happening and immediately got that ultimate. It was just a second too late because Cat Ears just immediately threw the hook as soon as he saw it coming out. But there's not much they can do to answer there. And they are getting some top platings in return. They are getting that gold in the pocket of Xyle and Marigeri, which is important to note. Those two members are doing a lot for this team. And Ezreal, Tom Kench are already kind of just sack as it is. So it's not like the top laners, the ones that they want, sorry, the top side, the ones that they want ahead are super behind for RMU. They just need to make something happen before the game ends.
Now 1 and 4, 3K gold lead in favor for Orgless here. Of course, Ocean Drake did get started by City Woody as well. That's going to be another neutral objective in favor for them. But taking a look at the lane allocation here, you already see King Vix sitting around the mid lane. And Cat Ears doing his best helicopter impression, moving around the map, seeing what huge pressure here. But before this 14-minute mark, that's a lot of plates towards King Vex. He's sitting on a lot of gold right now.
Yeah, he has a 1,200 gold lead over Fritz, and I mean, it's just gold leads across the board. Every single member has a very sizable gold lead, even in the support position. It is just too much to deal with. Now they're looking to group up top lane on Jerry, but not gonna have enough. Oh my!
Okay, King Vex, I see you going in deep with that ultimate and that flash here. So King Vex flexing a little bit on the mid lane. That means more plates going over to him and more gold in his pocket.
And I mentioned early how this Varus, he has a lot of damage, especially with that lethal tempo, a very large amount of burst damage. And against those immobile champions, if he can catch them off guard, he can pop them before, sorry, those mobile champions, he can pop them before they can get away. Now, hold on, 3-1 warrior in the top lane.
Oh, but here comes a backup from Orgless here. Marigeri in a 1v3 here. Thought he could fight the 1-on-1 against Marigeri, activating that dominance, but a mistake has been paid here. Now 6-1 in favor for Orgless.
And Marigeri might have been able to win it by himself, but all the members there, and he knew that Cat Ears has been looking so proactively. Again, right here, Cat Ears getting another pick.
Xyle, I don't know what you're doing, man. Why are you face checking into that tribe bush when you know that 3 people are going to be there? Now another kill going in for Orgless. Now 7-1. Now City Woody sitting 4-1.
Yeah, this feels like a very rough composition to run with, and when you fall behind with this composition, there's no real avenues back in. You don't have the pick potential. The only hard CC you have is super delayed on the support or on the melee top laner, and so they really just can't find any picks right now, and it's really rough to watch. I think that Orgless just is putting a chokehold on this game and is running away with it completely and not leaving any breathing room for RMU, really.
Yeah, you already see here, already 2 turrets in favor for them. Mid turret is about to fall down, of course, along with top side as well. But Marigeri might have found 3-1 warrior, taking a pretty greedy reset here, but Xyle is here for the backup here. Haymaker does get used, so no shield for him. Flash goes in as well, and then 3-1 warrior being a little bit greedy. TPs are coming in for the backup, but now City Woody is here. Unfortunately, no Lance respite for him, but City Woody now taking on Xyle. Young is here as well. Spacemaker joins the party, and the Emperor's Divide should be able to take Marigeri, and now 2 kills for 1 in favor for Orgless.
And, oh, we have to watch Vex here.
Oh, double 80 carries against the other marksman here. Chain of Corruption does manage to remove out, so he does stay alive, but for what cost?
Yeah, they did get this Chains of Corruption out from the Varus, which Vex has been playing very aggressively with that. It is going to make him forced to reset, kind of take a step back, get some breathing room. But I really don't want to go back to the draft over and over again for RMU, but they are struggling to find their picks, and they're still making it work with the champions that they have. I really wish that they had a little more engaged pick potential to work with, as that fits their playstyle so well, and hopefully they're still able to pull it out this game. I mean, they are managing to find picks every once in a while, but they just aren't getting enough lockdown to take the pick in time before the other members come to turn it around after they kill that member.
In the meantime, though, City Woody did manage to pick up the second Rift Arrow, so going to be looking to take down more, but take a look at the turret lead, man. 4-0, 7K goal lead in favor of them before 20 minutes. That's pretty damn good right now, as now we have to approach the second Drake here. Only 1 minute left. It's going to be another Cloud Drake in game 2 here, so a lot of cooldown for those ultimates are going to be pretty big for Orgless if they want to pick it up, but you already see Orgless already looking to corral on the bottom side and gets control as well.
And I really like the itemization from Young here. He has that Nashers for that early game, the extra CDR, and now he's transitioning into Leandri's against so many tanks with the TK, with the Trundle, with the Renekton. There's a front line he wants to burn through, and Leandri's is so good at doing that. I really love when people are against heavy tank teams and they build that itemization. I think it's very smart, and I think that it is going to be so tough to deal with because they can't itemize tanky and just, you know, tank the Azir hits anymore. They're going to get melted either way, regardless of what they build. So now they just have to go damage, and they have to kill people quick.
And taking a play out of LS, man. You already hear LS always complaining mid laners to not get Morel and Namukan. But speaking of three-man collapse on a Mary Jerry, nothing to do as well. City Woody now dominating, but a one-on-one in the mid lanes are going to be finding out. Young Mid, unfortunately, sitting on top of the package. He's going to be going down as well. A 1-for-1 overall, but on opposite sides.
However, with that 1-for-1, they do have that bot side completely open to this Rift Herald. It's going to get a nice chunk onto that tower, bringing it down to a quarter, and they're losing so much for it. They can't even finish that top tower out. The Air Drake, excuse me, is up to take after this whole play. They do get a nice pillar.
3-1 though does manage to take out the lantern, so should be able to make it out of dodge here. Only the Cloud Drake up, but looks like Robert Morris University, they want to continue pursuit, but I'm not too sure. In the meantime, mid T1 is falling down. Hook does go wide, so still Robert Morris University. I'm not too sure if you want to walk in, Zal, because that's not what you want to do as Chain of Corruption. Hook's falling out. Showmaker lands on 2 as well. 3-1 flashes in. That's a great face breaker as he catches 3 here. Costing goes down as well. That's a double kill for City Woody. In the meantime, you already see Fritzer. He's got to back off, and the mid T2 falls down as well. City Woody now on the chase.
Yeah, Fritz extremely low. Almost gonna die. The Q isn't even that reset.
He wants that kill. He activates the Lancer Spite, now fighting on the turret here. He's gonna have to see if he can make it out here, but a shutdown goes in for Mary Jerry. 1,000 gold bounty, but still, you lost so much on the map already as Robert Morris.
Yeah, that is a very large amount of gold on that Renekton, but what is he gonna be able to do with it to stop? He's just clearing out top lane, getting as much gold as he can. Looking to reset after that. They are staying around for that inhibitor. I don't think they're going to go for the end here. It looks like they're going to try to back up, get control over that dragon. Now, Mary Jerry is still in that top lane. It looks like he's going to try to go for that tower, but I don't know how effective it's going to be, how much it's going to do at this point in the game.
Already almost 9K gold lead in favor for them. 8.5 now. You already see Mary Jerry. He's got to back away. He doesn't want to
He doesn't know where they are.
God, no, I would do the same exact thing if this is a solo queue game, because we have to keep in mind what's going to happen here. But Orgless have to go in as we have to take a look at this replay real quick.
Yeah, we do see that team fight coming out. The chain of corruptions from the Varus, absolutely huge, and just so much damage coming out with the AoE from the set, from the Varus, just shredding through the entire team. And during that whole fight, there was just a super low mid tower. They can immediately just turn and take it because Vex was smacking it before this fight. Just clear that out and just immediately transition into just clearing out the entire base. And then just a little bit of over-aggression, just getting that. It was a little greedy here from City Woody. It was more just a style points.
Yeah, why not, right? Might as well kind of, add the cherry on top, 9-2. As we take a look at the current state of the game here, they did pick up the 3rd Cloud Drake. In the meantime here, they already have 2 inhibitors, which means that they only have 1 site left, which is going to be the top lane for Orgless here. Now sitting still, 8.5K gold lead here. Already 20 minutes in, you already see 4 of them corralling around the Baron, and they're looking to start it up.
Yeah, and it's just such a safe Baron. They have the Kindred ulti to work with, and a little bit actually. It's not up, but either way, there's no real contestation for it. And with this, they're just going to keep the pressure on until that next Drake is up. Play for that 4th Cloud again. This is just the same story as last game, just even scarier, I feel.
This is the reason why they're the #1 seed, right? This is the reason why they were the champions before. But as you can see, City already going in deep here. Has to activate the Lamb's Respite to make sure he doesn't die from Mary Jerry's burst here, but still makes it out alive here. For
Jumps
all
out of the
five
heal,
Red
though.
Baron. He did jump out of heal, but still no big deal, as now they have their sights on the top lane here. Rob Morris University, they have to hold the door.
Yeah, City Witty extremely low. He looks to go find a camp to heal off of. Wolves aren't up yet. He's going to have to just chill around for a second and jumps away just as they come up. A bit unfortunate. But in the meantime, his team is sieging down the top tower. Last one available. Oh, nice. Chains landing.
Yeah, now you already see Space Maker having to flash and make sure his teammate is safe and out of dodge here. But now Fritz pretty damn low here. Top inhibitor turret is also very low as well. The package does come flying in.
Nice package.
He's gonna get blown as well. That's a great package. Koskinen now taking out one. Only 2 of them left. That's gonna be a flash stun from Mary Jerry to see if he can close in the gap. But 3-1 Warriors now on the backside, now taking out Zal as well. Now a 2 for 3, and you already see 3-1 Warrior being the man in the back line. Now Fritz super low here. When we thought that fight was gonna be won because of that package, Orgless come fighting right back.
Yeah, there's just so many Fed members. Even if you take out Vex, you have City, 3-1, and Young to rely on. Every player on this team is a superstar, and they just showed up huge in that fight. They showed off why. You can't just play on one of them. You have to take this whole team down. They aren't just one member carrying the game. And while it was a huge package and a nice attempt, and we saw life from RMU, there's a reason they're the #1 seed.
Now gonna be
Orgless is playing insane.
They just want to add some cherry to the top here, but still ending the game in less than 23 minutes here. 13K gold lead, 20-6 here overall when it comes to that game itself. Orgless, this is the reason why they're the #1 right now. Ending that game in a pretty clean fashion. Some small little mistakes, but everyone's going to have a little bit of mistakes here. Everyone's going to be able to limit test just a little bit, but still, Orgless is showing them why they deserve the #1 in the Infernal Division.
Yeah, and I think that they were getting a little bit, just having a little fun there. City Witty in particular, he was having a great time on his Kindred, but again, such a dominant game, and I felt like, I really hate to bring it back to this, but the draft, I feel like RMU really does have strengths that they play well to. They're very good at making picks, especially Mare Jerry and Zyle together. They seem to have very good synergy together. And so with Koskinen on, a very good self-reliant champion, he played very consistently himself. Those two could have played a lot more aggressive, I think, had they had the tools to do so. I think that also putting the bot lane on such, just low value picks. They're just there to kind of be there, just hold as long as they can. It didn't feel like they were really playing to be aggressive and win. So I think RMU has a lot of strengths, and I think that they played fairly well. Like, score doesn't look great, but I think that they had some really good fights there, actually.
Yeah, we just have to take a look at damage real quick, right? Because take a look at the stats here. You already see City Woody being the man. He was the man in game 1 as well, but in this game, 10, 2, and 6 here. The first death got caught up by Zap, but the second death, he wanted to show some style points, right? Go ahead and dive Fritz on the top tier 2. Gonna see if he can get some more kills here, but still looking pretty good as we take a look at the damage charts here. And take a look at the damage graphs. You already see City Woody pumping out the most here. 15,000 damage for his team.
Yeah, and as you see, Mare Jerry trying his best to kind of pull up some weight in the top lane, and considering that he's playing against one of the top amateur top laners in 3-1 Warrior, I mean, undeniably a very strong player himself, Mare Jerry was surprisingly good, actually. I was thoroughly impressed by his play. I mean, his scores don't do it justice. He definitely was making plays. He was showing life to his team along with Zyle, so props to those two. And I think that there's stuff that they can work on to definitely come back swinging. I mean, it was definitely one-sided, but there were some good openings there that they had, and I think that they can work with that.
Yep, Rob Morris University going to see what they can do. Of course, their main competition will be the Midwest Esports Conference there. So they're going to have to use this as a stepping stool to see what they can do to take it in their collegiate conference and see if they can be the first and second seed in their respective region. But got to take a look at the MVPs here. And Meowcat, I don't know about you, but I'm definitely going to be agreeing that City Witty was the one who was looking pretty damn good in both games, both topping the charts in kills and in damage as well. But gotta know what your opinion is, my man.
Yeah, I gotta again go with City Witty. I mean, the Olaf game 1 was ridiculous. Game 2, he also played so much control with the Kindred. He just dominated the map. I think Young also played very well. I liked Cat Ears and how proactive he was. Even on Yumi, he was definitely looking for things. He was enabling people to make plays. And with the Thresh, he was just everywhere on the map. I think overall, as a team, everyone played very well. But City Witty obviously just popped off like crazy both games.
Yeah, now we got to take a look at the records now. So now Orgless sitting at the top of their division, 5-0, pushing RMU down to 1-5 now overall here. 1-4 now. Apologies on the record, but still, that means that Orgless is going to be seeing what they can do in the playoff. We only have 1 week left of the regular season, and after that we're going to be seeing which ones are going to be the number 1s and number 2s of each division, and see which ones they're going to be pairing up with. But that's going to be the end of this game here, end of week 5 for the Inferno division and Upsurge right now. So gonna have to say thank you for the production, thank you for Hypertension for being the great man behind the camera and the man behind the stream here. Got to give thanks to Meow Cat as well for joining me on this commentary. Of course, my name is William Chilling. Go ahead and give all of us a follow. Going to give all of us to follow. And in the meantime, we're going to be throwing the stream over to Supernova. You guys can go ahead and check them out and seeing how well they are doing in their match. So stick around. We're going to be shooting it right over to them.